What is up, everybody? It is Drew, Traveler of the Burning Abyss here with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my Lugia Archeops deck that I played over the weekend. Last week I played a different list and I went 2-1. This week I went 3-0 at my locals. I don't remember all of my matchups from last week. This week I did write them down, so I do have better ideas to what I played. So this week I played against Palkia Dusknoir, then I played against Charizard, and then I played against Terapagos. So all like relevant decks, which was good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into this, starting off with the 4 copies of Archeops. The entire point is to get these into your discard, that way you can bring them back with your Lugia V-Star ability and just turbo energy with the Primal Turbo ability. That being said, we are playing 3 copies of Lugia V-Star and 3 copies of Lugia V. So I'll move this over so you can actually see this. Summoning Star, this is the ability that we're using to get our Archeops back. You can get 2 of them back, so it's pretty darn strong. On top of that, it does hit for 220, which is pretty good, and you can discard a in-play stadium. And then the Lugia V sometimes will come up where you have to use the Read the Wind ability, and you just have to do that for your attack return. But that's not as common, but it does happen. Then we've got 2 copies of Lumineon. This gets you 2 supporters in your deck, which is pretty important, being able to get to those supporters. So getting to any of them is obviously phenomenal, but this deck does rely on a few supporters that put in a lot of work for you. So yeah, double Lumineon V is fantastic. 1 Iron Hands EX. This card's really good against 1 prize cards, because you can just go ahead and make 1 prize cards 2 prize cards. And there are scenarios where you can make a 2 prize card into a 3 prize card, which is pretty cool. Then we have 1 Blood Moon Ursaluna. This card's pretty good. As your opponent progressively gets their prize cards, this card gets stronger and easier to attack with, which is pretty darn cool. Yeah, good card. 1 Squawkabilly. It didn't come up, but I mean, being able to discard your hand and draw 6 on your first turn is pretty good. That's really his only utility, but if it works, it works. 1 Wordier V. This is basically you just attack for big damage. 4 damage for each energy attached. So if you attach something like a double turbo energy, which provides 2 energy, this counts as 2 energy. So just having 1 double turbo energy attached already hits for 80 minus the 20 that double turbo reduces by, so already 60. So if you equip 4 double turbo energies, you're gonna get 8 times 4, which is gonna be 300, or 8 times 40, which is 320, minus 80 is gonna be 240, I think. Yeah. So it's pretty strong. We have 1 Pheasantipity to go ahead and just draw cards after our Pokemon get KO'd. And his Cruel Arrow attack is actually somewhat relevant if you're playing against 1 prize decks. You can kind of just snipe stuff off of your opponent's bench, which is pretty neat. Then Cinccino and Cinccino. I was playing 3 and 3 these last week. I wanted to change it up, and I'm kind of glad I did. I think it was probably smart to do so. So yeah, I had to cut these down, and it was perfectly fine. That was all the Pokemon though. So looking at the trainer cards now, 4 copies of Ultra Ball. This is really good in this deck because you could discard double Archeops and then search for something, and then your Archeops are already loaded in your discard, which is phenomenal. Then we have 4 copies of Great Ball. Literally it's like a cooler Pot of Duality or Pot of Prosperity for Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you just get to look at the top 7 cards of your deck instead, and you get to reveal Pokemon and put it in your hand, which is really cool. Then we have Capturing Aroma. which is a pretty solid card. It's literally a coin toss card though, where it's like, okay, am I getting an evolution or am I getting a basic? Like, what am I gonna get? So sometimes it's like, all right, I need this, but I get that instead. So it is what it is, but it can definitely be helpful. Then the supporters, 4 copies of Boss's Order. This card was crazy for me. I top decked this a couple games and it definitely won me those games. Or I had the Luminion and I was able to get this off of the Luminion, so being able to just take one of your opponent's Pokemon up that you can easily KO and then getting your last prize cards is actually insane. Or KOing one of your opponent's important Pokemon that like they're going to evolve on their turn, but now you KO'd it, so now they have to wait another full turn and then you're able to secure the game by then. So yeah, Boss is crazy in this deck. Triple Research, literally discard your hand, draw 7. In this deck it's really good because if you have Archeops in your hand, you get to pitch the Archeops and then push forward, which is crazy. Double Iono, this card's pretty good. I don't even know if I ended up playing it once, but it's really good. Shuffle your hand, put it on the bottom of your deck, and draw the number of prize cards that you have. Both players do that. So if your opponent is like down to 2 prize cards and you have 4, and they have like 6 cards in their hand, they're losing 4 cards, which is really good. So yeah, Iono is actually awesome. One Jock, which in this deck is really good. You get to search for 2 evolution Pokemon. If you open like this with Ultra Ball going second, you grab double Archeops, pitch the double Archeops with the Ultra Ball and get like a Lugia V, which is really awesome. One Carmine, this card is pretty good because going first you can use it, because the rule in Pokemon is that you cannot use your supporter cards if you are going first on your first turn. So if you're going second on your first turn, you can use them. But Carmine kind of bypasses that. So if you go first, you discard during your first turn, discard your hand, draw 5 cards, which is actually like pretty darn strong in this deck, because you could start to put a couple of important Pokemon on your bench, and then you could discard your Archeops and just play the game. And because we're playing the double Luminion, we can search this very easily, which is nice. Then we have double Mezagoza. This card I didn't play once, but flip a coin. If heads, the player searches their deck for a Pokemon, reveals it, puts it in their hand, and then shuffles their deck. Last week I was playing Jamming Towers, which basically shuts off all items equipped to Pokemon. But this week I decided to go with this, and it didn't come up, but it's still a pretty good card. But that's all the trainer cards. We're going to move on to our energies now. So starting off, we have 4 copies of Double Turbo Energy, which as long as it's attached to a Pokemon, it does provide 2 colorless energy, which is really good. And the attacks of Pokemon this card is attached to do 20 less damage, and this is before applying weakness and resistance. So basically you can equip these and you can boost your stuff, but it's going to do less damage, but you're boosting out multiple energy and making things a little bit easier. But the card's really good. It also helps if you have to like retreat certain Pokemon in your deck, because a lot of these Pokemon are actually like 2 cost retreats. So yeah, I thought that was really strong energy. For gift energy, this card is actually insane. Provides colorless energy again, but then if it's knocked out by damage from an attack, you draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. So if you literally have like 3 cards in your hand, your opponent KOs your Pokemon, you get to draw 4, and then you get to draw another card for turn right after. So you're drawing 5 cards, which is actually insane. So yeah, gift energy is the nuts. For Jet Energy, this card's also really good in this deck because of one very important Pokemon, Wordier V. So it says when you attach this from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, switch that Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So his Frontier Road ability is what makes this important, because if he moves from your bench to active spot, move any amount of energy from your other Pokemon to him. So if you have a wide spread of energy in all your Pokemon, you put a Jet Energy on him, he moves up to the front from the bench, you could just make his attack gigantic. So it's actually pretty crazy having the Jet Energy, and that way you don't have to detach stuff to retreat as well. You can just move up whatever Pokemon you want. Double Mist Energy card's not bad, but it wasn't like the ability came up where you prevent effects of attacks, but hey, it's still an energy. One V-Guard Energy, this didn't really change much at all either. I didn't really worry too much about Pokemon V attacks or anything like that. So then lastly, one Legacy Energy. It's really good just because of mostly the Iron Hands EX being able to be an electric energy, but there are some scenarios where technically you can use a Lumineon because the Aqua Return requires 1 water, so you can hit for 120 and then his attack says shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. So then you would shuffle the Legacy Energy into your deck, and then you can later use the Legacy Energy on your Iron Hands EX. So I didn't have that come up, but it can come up. But thankfully I didn't have to go that route because it's not the best. It's just kind of like if you have nothing else to do. But that's the entirety of it. It was a fun locals. I'm gonna try and start recording at locals hopefully within the next month. I think I have a League Cup and a League Challenge later this month, so I will probably end up recording at those because I want to get some good footage and see how I can play. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the first Pokemon profile on the channel, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload more cool and awesome content. And for right now, this is Drew, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, signing out.